Hello, and welcome back to Your Biz, Your Rules. Now, today we're gonna get firmly entrenched in my zone of genius, which is all about creating standout digital content with minimal time spent, minimal effort, and minimal stress. Because it is possible, it really is. And that's the first step, really, is to believe that you can do all of this stuff without being like a massive trauma or energy zap or any of that stuff. It can be quick, it can even be fun. I know, crazy, right? Um, so let's get to it. Let's go. Now, I will tell you that the number one biggest excuse that I hear from people who are not focusing on building their online presence is that they don't have time. Now, time is, let's face it, it's a relative concept. You can make time for certain things, but not a lot of people will prioritize their digital content, and that's a big mistake because they are chucking money out of the door by not doing a little bit of something. Now, you don't have to do tons. You don't have to be on every single platform every single day doing like all bells, all whistles, magical video edited perfection. You don't. You just need to show up fairly consistently and be yourself. That's the nugget here. And I'm gonna walk you through 7 different ways that you can really find time to create killer content when you're hideously busy, because let's face it, we are all busy a lot of the time. A lot of us wear our busyness as a badge of honour, and I'm not going to delve into that topic right now. But let's look at these ways that you can start creating amazing digital content when you're also focused on building a business and making money and all of these other tasks that you have to get done. So, without further ado, let us begin. The first thing you need to do is really clue in your calendar. You need to look for space in your schedule and book in this sacred content time. Amy Porterfield refers to this as tiger time, which appeals to me because I'm a big fan of alliteration and also tigers. And this is time that you just block out and treat as absolutely sacred. So you're guarding it ferociously like a tiger. That's the idea behind the name. And this time should be as important as a client booking. It shouldn't be something that you think, oh, well, that's just for my biz. Oh, I can move that. Oh, no big deal. Things are never going to change if you don't make a change. Mic drop moment. That's the truth. Now, you don't need a whole day to get your content under control. You could have 10 minutes a day. You could have half an hour a week. You need to make this work for you realistically and make it something that you can do sustainably, because consistency is the name of the game. It is not a one and done thing when it comes to content. You need to show up consistently. And now it doesn't matter if that means it's once a day or once a week or once a fortnight. Whichever frequency you choose, stick to it. Keep it consistent. So that's the first step. Really block time out in your calendar and consider it absolutely sacred. Now, my second tip is to batch your tasks of a kind. So what I mean by that is, let's say you have a whole bunch of Instagram posts that you want to get out, right? So in one slot of time, you might create all of the images. In another slot of time, you might draft all of your captions. In another slot of time, you might bring the two together and schedule them out. Or if you're creating video, in one slot of time, you might write your outlines. In another slot of time, you might film. In another slot of time, you might edit. And in another slot of time, you might draft show notes. In another slot of time, you might schedule and publish. Like, all of these different tasks can be broken down into chunks. And if you stay focused on one like general activity, then you'll find yourself much more productive, much more able to power through and get things done. I mean, there's a whole load of research that shows the negative impact of cognitive switching, that's switching between different tasks. It's not a secret. We hear people talk about that stuff all the time. So you really will do your productivity wonders if you group together these jobs of a similar ilk. Okay, third tip. Collect ideas as you go. So you will often find that your biggest, brightest ideas will come when you're walking the dogs, or when you're in the shower, or when you're as far as humanly possible away from a notebook. You know, those are your idea moments. It's just sod's law, really, isn't it? So what I would suggest is to just find somewhere where you can stash these ideas. I like to use Evernote, which is a free app. If you haven't heard of it, you can just download it. It's a note-taking app that you can have on your phone, and it syncs to all of your devices. And I just have a notebook where I dump all of my ideas as and when they arrive. Now, the reason I do this is because what I've noticed is a little bit of a trend is sometimes I will be flooded with like 50 ideas. I'll have all of these ideas that I can't wait to like create something based on, and I'll feel really tempted to just do that all and get things like all published because I'm really excited about it. But if you do that, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you are not accounting for those times when you don't have the ideas, or those times when you are like really busy or really uninspired. So what are you going to do when things are good? Like publish 12 posts a day, and when things are bad, just be silent for weeks? No, that's not consistent, and it's not going to win you any content brownie points. So collect all of those ideas as they pop up, and then be really intentional about creating stuff. Yes, create stuff when you're in the zone, but schedule it out for the future, so you've got something consistently going out. But by all means, ride the waves of inspiration, but try to be like really thoughtful about the way you approach it. Try to make sure that you've got things going out down the line, and it's not just like all published today, go go go, because you're really enthusiastic about a particular topic. Next tip: get help where you need it. Get help where you need it. Now, I know better than anybody that asking for help can feel way uncomfortable. Way uncomfortable. But when I say help, it doesn't have to be like begging for huge favours. It could be maybe finding a tool that allows you to automate a particular step in the process. It could be bringing a VA on board who can sort of pick up different areas that maybe you don't love or you don't find particularly easy. You know, like find someone who can help you with that kind of thing. It could be asking questions in your favourite Facebook group as a way to generate ideas, or like crowdsource blog posts, or like get feedback on improving a certain step of the process. Like it could just be reaching out to your biz buddies for some accountability and like a space to bounce ideas around. It does not have to be hiring someone. It does not have to be taking advantage of someone. It doesn't have to actually even involve humans. It could just be an app. There is probably an app for that. Literally one of my favourite quotes. Now, another tip, which does not come easily, I will admit, is be absolutely ruthless with your productivity. Now, you will get nowhere if you're not willing to get serious with this. If you're not willing to sacrifice your precious dicking about on Facebook time, there's nothing I can do for you. You have to want to make a difference in your business. But if you're willing to get serious, this is my little productivity tip. Step 1, switch off all the distractions. That means turn your phone off, turn it off, not just silent, turn it off. So you don't see any flashing lights, nothing. Close down all of the other tabs. Switch off anything else that might tug at your attention. Anything, switch it all off. And then step 2 is to use the tomato timer and just work in sprints. The Pomodoro technique says work in 25-minute sprints with a 5-minute break, but really you can like set those sprints up to whatever length really works for you. That's it. Simple. Switch off distractions and then work in sprints. Ruthless productivity. Okay, And I will apologise if you can hear that noise in the background. My dog has found a bone and thinks that the best place to possibly eat it is right on the floor next to me as I record. But there you go, that's the unfiltered biz life for you. Now my next tip, I think we're up to tip number 6, is to make sure your templates are on point. Now when I say templates, I mean images, so anything for your blog post imagery, any like video covers, Instagram story templates, like Instagram post templates, any of the visuals, make sure you've got cracking templates to work with. I use Canva to create mine, which is, as you know, free. I mean, I do have the paid version because I like that you can upload your own fonts and all of that stuff, but you can get along perfectly well with the free version. But I also mean your content templates, so things like having templates for emailers that go out, having templates for certain types of blog posts. Now, if you look at the show notes of any of my podcast episodes, you'll see that they follow a very similar flow. They've got the same sections in there. They've got the podcast player in like similar areas throughout the post. And that's because I use a template. I have simply a draft blog post set up on my site that I can copy and paste into a new post every time I publish an episode. And I can't tell you how much like time and effort and energy that saves me each week, because I publish an episode every single week. And at the beginning, I published 2 a week, so I was having to do a lot of posts to go with each of those recordings, right? Having templates saves so much of your soul, so much. Okay, final tip for weaving content creation into a hideously busy life is to combine baby steps with big fun. So we've talked about how you can chunk up each of your tasks and how you can be super like productive and like getting all of this stuff done, but you've kind of got to enjoy the process as well. So I've mentioned riding the waves of your inspiration, and I really want you to think about that. Think about the parts of this that you really enjoy and go with those. And then I also want you to think about the things that actually motivate you to get stuff done. So for some people, that is accountability. For some people, it might be having a special planner to do things in. It might be taking part in a monthly challenge. Like, know yourself and know your own tendencies and use that to your advantage. Use that to get things done. So this is how we do things in the Content Arsenal, which is my membership group. So I share these like bite-sized little action steps that people can do that are based on a particular area of your content creation. So it might be like selling through your content. It might be standing out on Instagram. It might be re-engaging a stale list. Any of these areas that need a little bit of TLC. And I'll share these like fun, easily implementable little tasks that you can do, so that it doesn't feel like such work and such effort, and they're so easily tailored to any business and any style, and I think that's what makes them really work. And I also like add an extra layer of fun and accountability by having challenges, like pop-up challenges, to really get people going and get people creating and get those juices flowing. And I do think like all packaged together, it gives you everything you need to nail your content strategy, the execution, the workflow, and finding the fun, all without sacrificing your sanity. I'll put the link to that in the show notes, and I will tell you that right now it's going for £24 a month, which is a steal, because I'm in that group every single day giving feedback and sharing ideas, and the price will be going up. I'm thinking midsummer I'm going to be putting the price up, so if you are interested in like joining the cool kids, do go check out that page now. Anyway, that's enough of the pitching. You've got my 7 tips, 7 ways to weave all of this content creation into a hella busy work week. Now, stop listening to podcasts and go do it. Go get creating. Thank you for listening to Your Biz, Your Rules. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as I enjoyed creating it. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about weaving personality into your business, please feel free to hop over to my website, darapaddy.com. That's where you'll find all kinds of resources and all kinds of inspiration for just being a little bit more you online, because it is possible.